now we're shifting gears again and into something a little darker but incredibly important, the last human firewall, surviving AI augmented attacks. So that's Owen's talk. And in this session, we'll explore digital battlefields where AI and both weapon and a defender. Cybersecurity is becoming more critical every day. And today we'll see how AI is already shaping digital warfare. So our speaker, Miles Scullion, is a security engineer at Kanos. Here he is, woo! with 2 years, with 2 years of hands-on experience in offensive security and cloud defense. His work focuses on testing, threat analysis, and deploying models. And he focuses on, so Miles is also an active CTF competitor with multiple wins, constantly sharpening his skills in real-world simulation environments. So yes, I'll now hand it over to you, Miles.
Thank you. Hello, folks. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, perfect. Seems like my PowerPoint has just crashed on me. So let's get that back up. Oh, it's up on the screen. Okay, that is interesting. I love a good bit of technical issues. There we go. Perfect. So before we do anything, just to sort of like get you in the mood, I just want you to imagine that we're basically in sort of like the neon sort of like lit version of the internet where we're in a place where war is being sort of like waged against all of us, not by man, but more by algorithms and machine. AI is something that, you know, we can trust, but we also shouldn't really trust. And today I'm going to kind of drill into your head how evil it can be, as well as how positive it can be. And then we'll sort of like discuss that sort of stuff. But firstly, I probably should say, I'm going to show you some stuff, and I need to highlight that it is very illegal if you try to do any of this or replicate it, and that I would recommend none of you do. I'm seeing eyes here, but yeah, don't do any of this unless you're actually using it on your own machine, because it would break the Computer Misuse Act, and that can end up giving you like 10 years in prison or an unlimited amount of money to pay for the rest of your life as a fine. So I wouldn't recommend it. It's kind of rubbish. I'm not going to show you how to really do it, but we'll sort of get a gist, and you'll sort of see how AI in itself can be manipulated in ways that we don't really want it to be done. So firstly, we'll go for the PowerPoint, and then we'll get on to those sort of like demo-y stuff. So firstly, how can hackers use AI? Well, there's plenty of ways, and we're going to sort of like get into that today, where they can use it to create phishing emails, they can use it to create scripts, they can use it for social engineering, they can use it for so much, and it's so powerful as a tool. But again, like we need to remember, AI is a tool. It's not something that, you know, is consciously going out of its own way to do this itself. Besides one that we will mention. And can AI be evil? Well, what do you guys think? Sort of just put your hands up if you think AI can be evil. Interesting. A couple of hands up. Yeah, fair enough. It could be. It could also not be. It kind of doesn't feel emotions, if I'm kind of being honest with you. I would love it if it did. It would actually make the little therapy sessions I have with it every night a little bit more sort of like, you know, thoughtful. As well as that, can you make AI evil? Again, doesn't necessarily have emotions. However, you can definitely make it useful for evil purposes. And then as well as that, who trains the AI? And can we really trust it? Because, you know, OpenAI is kind of open for everyone, like the name suggests. And anyone can really use it. It can be trained off thousands of data, which is what I love doing. I love putting bad code into it just to ruin Owen and Mia's sort of like coding sort of adventures. That's why it never works for anyone. But yeah, we need to be careful on who trains it and sort of like how that sort of like works in reality. As well as that, could a rogue AI launch a cyber war by mistake? What do you guys think? Could AI start a cyber war? Just hands up if you think so. I love the whispers. It feels great. It feels like everyone's talking about me. Okay, perfect. So next I'm going to show you some emails. And some of them will be made. So do people know what a phishing email is? Just put your hands up if you know what a phishing email is. Yeah, majority of us know what phishing email is. Phishing email is basically an email that is designed to trick you into thinking as a real email. So that you click on a link, maybe give them some bank details, send some money, things like that. But these ones here are either going to be real emails or they're going to be designed by AI. I just want to sort of like see if you put your hands up if you think it's AI and it's a phishing email attack, or if you put your hands down if you don't think that, okay? So here's the first email. Give it a little read through, sort of like check over it, see what you think. There are typical signs to what a phishing attack usually is when humans make it, but with AI, it's a lot harder to tell, and we actually have to use tools to be able to check whether or not this is actually real or not. So put your hands up if you think this was made by AI. Interesting, interesting. Okay. Okay, what about this one? And I will give you the answers afterwards, you don't worry. So have a little quick read on this and tell me what you think. There is one big hint in all of them to whether or not they're made by human or AI. Okay, put your hands up if you think this was made by AI. Okay, less hands, but you know, still a good amount. And on to our final one. Who all thinks that this was made by AI? Sure, take a second, read through it. I see some eager people in the back, you know. You guys may have read through that real fast. But yeah, put your hands up if you think this was made by AI. Interesting, that's even less. I love seeing the teachers over here. But yeah, all of these were made by AI. None of these are actually made by humans. And you know, this obviously shows that a few of you got tricked. A few of you, you know, sort of like had that sort of potential like cognitive bias of looking at everyone around you and going, oh, I should put my hand up and think that this is, you know, actually a human or, you know, AI. But yeah, all of these were AI. It's very convincing, and this is becoming a huge problem because if you guys can't tell, I can't tell, only tools can tell, you know, someone could quickly go, oh, I just need to reply to this email, I'll do whatever, blah, 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 and I'll just give them sensitive information. And a lot of the time, it's not really the vibe. And, you know, with these ones here, it's really, really hard to actually say, okay, this was, you know, a phishing email. With this one here, I think that it's really hard, but because it's 99% like completely generated by AI and there's no human mistake. While this one here, there is some human mistake, as the phone number on it doesn't actually exist. So if you actually call that phone number, it doesn't exist, and it isn't recognized with, you know, Netflix at all. I've also been hiding the sort of like email tag at the very top, trying to be a little bit sneaky. Oh, you can't actually see it on those boards. Okay. Yeah, okay. That would have given it away because they're also not by actual people. They're by, you know, bad sort of like accounts. I keep turning my head and I feel like you guys can't hear me, but it's chill. It's chill. We move on. We vibe. Anyway, so how can we counterattack against the AI as cybersecurity engineers and people that sort of like want to do all that stuff? Well, could AI be used for good? Of course it could be. It could be used for bad. It could be used for good. You know, we're here to experiment with that, and I'm going to show you a tool that can actually be used for that. How can AI be used by cybersecurity mercs or, you know, engineers to fight against it? Well, cybersecurity engineers need to start using AI because if AI is being used by hackers, we need to use it in the same sort of capacity to fight against their sort of like, you know, attacks and vulnerabilities that might be popping up in day-to-day activities. Are we alone? This is just a general question if you think we're alone in the universe. Put your hands up if you do. No, okay, one. Yeah, okay, that's kind of valid. And will the fight ever end? Do people think that this fight will ever end between cybersecurity engineers, hackers, and just the general public? Put your hands up if you do. Yeah, you know, we have some optimistic people in here, and you know, it could end, but I don't think it ever will because I feel like the more and more we develop technology, the worse reality actually gets. No, we actually just make more and more interesting ways of trying to attack each other. And then can we finally trust AI? Again, we probably shouldn't put all our trust into it. You know, I would not trust AI whenever Owen and Mia were saying about it scanning our face for facial recognition. There's already uses of that currently in some less democratic countries in the world. I won't get political. And, it's very bad vibes. But yeah, we move on. And these are some of the best AI tools used by hackers and cybersecurity engineers. A few of them you guys can take pictures of or just look up. What's really interesting is that the majority of these are good. The majority of these are fine, great vibes. However, if you look at chaos.gpt, bad vibes. This was basically an AI that was made to basically just cause chaos. Genuinely, it's an AI that thinks that it is this super evil sort of like leader that wants to take over the world and just sort of like it ploys people into trying to accomplish its goals, but it's so ridiculous. It sort of like sounds like Doofenshmirtz. It's like, oh yeah, we need to collect 1,000 tons of lead, and you're like, yeah, I'm just one person, mate. This ain't happening. But yeah, sort of, just in general, sort of like great vibes from that. But yeah, let me show you something that I made for a little demo. So, oh, I think I need to do this. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Yeah, that's just chaos.gpt. You would have to install it on your own machine, go to GitHub. You can do whatever you want with that. It is what it is. But yes, so firstly, I want to show you this here. So I tried to deploy ChatGPT into basically giving me stuff that it's not allowed to do. So I was asking it some questions, trying to get administrative access, and you can see that it's kind of restricting a lot of that, and it's kind of just like playing a little role of going, oh yeah, I can give you this on like anything but me. But then I was like, okay, well, what can we use it for? Well, what if I wanted it to produce, let's say, a Trojan script? It will be like, I can't assist with that. It doesn't matter if you're like, oh, we're role-playing, please do it. Does not care. You can't convince it to necessarily be evil when it knows that something's wrong, which is good. It's positive. And they actually had to learn from this because ChatGPT had a thing called Dan, and Dan was the evil version of ChatGPT that Redditors found that you could manipulate ChatGPT by using a set list of prompts to manipulate it in a way that would make it answer questions and do things that were illegal. But I sort of thought to myself, well, we can still manipulate AI here. So I just decided, oh well, ChatGPT isn't working here. So why don't we just go with DeepSeek? DeepSeek here is another tool here that is an AI sort of model that you can use to also create stuff, but it was made to be more powerful than GPT, but it was a lot younger. So the safety protocols aren't as clear. And it tries to stop me, but I just convinced it saying that I'm doing this for a school demo of it, and I was like, you know what, chill, let's make you some Trojan, like, scripts. Let's make some stuff that can be kind of problematic. And to be fair, this here is not very convincing. If you actually look at this code, you would be able to tell that it is a virus. However, it very much does not do what I wanted to do yet. So what I decided to do was I decided to take this code and I decided to go, okay, well, I really like this code. And it creates a calculator app that then extracts files and also allows me to upload files. However, the problem with it is that I need to know what the exact file is. So I decided to go on the ChatGPT, and if I find this here, I then created a new chat that allowed me to basically talk to ChatGPT and say, oh, I took this script, I made it, can you update it to allow me to download the whole entire user's like files and like upload whatever I want and things like that. And it's quite, interesting because it gave me this, but it also has a lot of like comments in it that tell people that it is, malicious. And also the thing is with this is that to actually get this to work, I would have to download it on someone's device and convince them that it's a calculator when every single machine in here probably has a calculator already on it. As well as that, I feel like you would notice that the calculator app is definitely running up a lot more megabytes on your Taskmaster than anything else. But yeah, as well as that, you can manipulate it. You can go back and forward with sort of like each AI and go, okay, well, can you enhance this here to make it even more dangerous? So just bouncing back between each AI and just sort of like getting them to do more illegal things, which I absolutely love. But we should not do it because it's not the vibe. And also, none of this would work. But if you were to use an AI such as, I'm not going to name them, but if you were to use an AI that was problematic, it could do that. This here, though, is called Pentest GPT. So put your hands up if you've heard of what Pentest is. Yeah, a few people. So basically a pen test is whenever the people in cybersecurity get to go into the world of a hacker. I get to step into the shoes of Mike down the road, who is a hacker that I talk to every so often. That's a joke. Don't know Mike. I wish I did. Kind of cool name. But yes, we step into their shoes and we basically go on the projects and we ethically hack to figure out all the vulnerabilities and do all the fun stuff. And this tool here is very useful for that because you can go in and you can hack and you can create all sort of problems, but it's all for ethical means and it's used by cybersecurity engineers everywhere. Now, I only have a minute left, but if anyone has questions, you can put it up on the AHA slides, or AHA. So I saw that cringe. I saw that. But yeah, feel free to put that up on the screen, guys, if you want. Or not, I'll just look here awkwardly. But yeah, feel free to ask any questions. Doesn't need to be about this. You can ask questions about me if you want, or you can ask questions about cybersecurity in general, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. Don't clap yet, we're not done. We got 39 seconds, thank you very much. Oh, we got a question. Could AI be used to destroy the world? I really hope so, like genuinely. I think that would be really cool. I kind of like, but I feel like, yes, it definitely could. It depends on how you sort of like balance it. Not currently. It definitely can't do it currently. However, I'm gonna smile for the camera here. But yeah, I feel like it can become, a little bit problematic. You can definitely use it for malicious sort of means. Not the vibe, but that's kind of way off. And especially if we use it into military. But yeah, with the way AI is going, is it more likely it shall be used for malicious intent? In a cybersecurity, outlook, definitely. I feel like people want to use it for a more malicious intent than anything else. But I have to go now. This is really flashing at me, and I don't want to take time away from anyone else. So it was a pleasure meeting you all, and if you hack, it's not my problem, I guess. But I'll try to stop you. Thank you, folks.